somewhere in that range.
What's your thoughts on his model of, targeting whole states and getting leads that are pretty much in the middle of nowhere? But, what's your thoughts on that?
You just need to spend a lot to get a lot of them so you can get the crap out of there and focus on the good ones.
We'll ask him, but I wonder why he just doesn't target specific areas. And I think
we
he's
did
already
ask him last time.
And what'd he say? He's like
cost per lead.
Cost per lead
goes up.
Cost per lead. But I mean, doesn't that, if his cost per lead goes up, but he's scrapping 50%, he's technically paying $100 a lead, right? If you're scrapping 50%, so doesn't that equal out?
I mean, it might not work out those exact numbers. You know what I mean?
He might not be scrapping 50%.
Well, like maybe if he did, let's say he did like specific areas, and say he got a total of like, I don't know, 30 leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
But doing the whole state, he gets 100 leads but scraps 50 of them. He's got 50 leads versus 30 leads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might be something like that.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I remember when we were doing, I know he targets California, and I know when we were doing California, we were getting leads in just the crappiest parts of California when we were doing the whole state, right? And so,
Yeah.
I mean, really, they're not letting you get a lead in San Francisco unless you're willing to pay what the people are bidding for in San Francisco. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Same with LA.
And all those wonderful, places where if you get a deal, you get.
Yeah, I think the other thing though is like, if you get leads in those areas, like you can work out like huge spreads, right? And that's what I think is the beneficial part about, like, even if you only get 30 leads in the good areas and you pay more per lead,
You have bigger spreads.
yeah.
Yeah, and if you master a market, you maximize the dollar you can make on it. Like, let me give you guys an example. We did a deal in Baltimore, Maryland, and we barely could dispo it. Like, we couldn't find anyone to buy it. We made $12,000 on it. And then we found out
two separate houses.
it was two duplexes that were torn up. So we sold it we barely were able to find someone, and he was like a kind of a jerk about it. He was like being like really demanding, like he didn't even really want the deal. So we signed him for $12,000 for these two duplexes, and then we saw that 2 days later, like after a month, we went back and looked. The dude had put it on the MLS 2 days later, and he made $97,000 just from putting it on the MLS. And we were like, come on. Like, that's so we lost out.
Prime example. So we average like 20K here in Utah per deal.
Uh-huh.
Nationwide, before like our huge deal that, I think skews the average profit per deal or revenue per deal, it was like 11K.
Which is not good at all.
No. Because we spend 6K to get a deal.
Yeah.
So if you spend 6 or 7K to get a deal here and you make 20, it's...
I'm just going to say over and over again, you spend enough doing the nationwide model, it makes sense. Because you're going to get some whales, you're going to get some things like Sean Terry does.
That's why Sean Terry focuses on California, because every mastermind that we go to now, he's like telling us about some fat deal he got in California where he made a couple $100K.
Yeah, and that makes it all worth it, right?
I mean, you could spend all year, if you get one deal, it's worth it.
Why aren't we in California, bro?
We should.
We do Utah and California and fly between there.
I'd move to California if the taxes weren't so bad.
Yeah, if the state wasn't whack, I'd move there. It's beautiful in California.
That's awesome.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what we wanted to chat with you.